Mr. Sulaimán, you are one of the most knowledgeable and respected persons in the boxing world. And there are a number of challenging issues in the sport today. So we appreciate you taking the time to come on with Mr. Bayless and I, hopefully to discuss some of these issues that are facing the game today.
And I call you Mr. Bird or Robert?
Either way.
I'm Mauricio for you, always my friend.
Yeah, well, we like Robert. I call him the Birdman sometimes, Mauricio. But like Bird said, we are thrilled to have you on the official call. This was an idea that the Birdman thought of doing this podcast. We've been getting some great reviews, and so to have a person like yourself on the show, the first president of any of the boxing organizations, happened to be you, my friend.
Thank you so much. And I feel so proud and honored to be in your show, especially knowing both of you who are such honorable members of the boxing community who have given so many great moments of glory to the sport. So thank you so very much.
Appreciate that.
And thank you. And I would first like to start out for our boxing fans. If you could just briefly give a little history about the WBC, the organization itself, which is known worldwide.
Thank you. The WBC is a non-profit organization. In boxing, it is different from every other sport. In football, you have the NFL, baseball, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, etc. Every sport has that league, but that league, like the UFC, it's a league. They control everything about the sport, most importantly, the business. They sell the franchises, which are the teams. They control the TV contracts, the sponsorship, the ticket sales, the rules, the trophies, the regulations. Everything is in one closed world. In boxing, the WBC was founded in 1963 with the exact intention not to have anything to do with the business side, nothing, to avoid any conflict of interest. If you control the belt and the rankings and the business, everything can go wrong with the type of sport that boxing is. We bring the shadow of the 1940s and 50s of the mafia controlling the sport. That's why the WBC started with a distinct difference of what is the administration of the sport and what is the business side of the sport. So the WBC has affiliation of 176 countries. We have operations worldwide, and our key and our main objectives have always been safety for boxers. We have changed the rules in our 63-year history with so many different medical studies and research. Every change is based on medical research, and we try to make boxing better and safer. We are having a hard time today of making changes because boxing people are very old-fashioned. They don't like to adjust to the modern days like other sports do. I was watching the World Series yesterday, Now the catcher and the pitcher, they don't use the signals, the ones I grew up seeing. They communicate with technology. Now in football, you have the instant replay. You have the protection to the quarterback. If you hit him in the head, automatic penalty. It doesn't matter if it was intentional or accidental, like in boxing. So we need to regroup and allow some changes to make boxing more interesting in the current days. But as I was saying, just the WBC is a worldwide platform with thousands of people that collaborate trying to make boxing better and safer.
Well,
That's great.
I'm glad you mentioned about safety, because on our show, one of the things we attempt to do is educate our fans.
Yes.
And in a boxing contest, a lot of complaints always happen to be negative toward referees that stop the fight. Fans want to see more, but as us referees, we're looking out for safety. That is the key, is the safety for the fighters.
Yes, the WBC manual for referees that has been used for training and certification, it's very clear and very simple. We prefer the referee to stop the fight one punch before rather than one punch later.
Exactly.
We don't need accidents. You can do a rematch. You can do later another fight. But if a referee who is right there is the only person who can see the eyes of the fighter who's hurt, the reaction, and yeah, it's very easy for a fan to bash a referee or an organization for stopping a fight. Of course, the emotions that dramatic fights bring are the ones that we always remember.
Yes.
But what is the price of the fighter being hurt? So we have to put the balance, and we will always support the referee's actions.
Yes.
You know, Mr. Sulaimán, one of the difficulties, to be fair, one of the difficulties for the fan, we understand that boxing is a damage sport. You're going to get damaged. But what our responsibility is as a referee is to ensure that there is not unnecessary damage. And there's a big difference. Sometimes the fans that's what they don't understand. And that's why we get this negative thing about, because they're looking at the fight with their heart and with their pocketbook. And we're looking at the fight, based upon the safety of that fighter.
Well, you touched a very easy, sensitive topic, because fans and officials are very different when they watch a fight.
Yes.
An official, for fans to understand, he or she must not have not even a bottle of beer or a glass of wine one day before, of course, not the day of the fight.
Right.
Many of them do not even drink.
Yes.
But as a rule, an official cannot drink one day before or the day of the fight. Us, when we're watching as a fan, you have your beer or your whiskey, wine, you're enjoying, you're cheering, you're having fun. So the emotions from a person who is having fun is much different from a person who is working the fight. The judges have the justice in their hands. The referees have the life and the safety of the fighters in their hands.
Yes.
Also, many fans like to bet. So if I put a bet on a fighter, I really want him to see him win.
Yes. Yes.
It's a big difference. So there's emotions, and I am a fan. I'm a football fan. I'm a baseball fan. And I see how a fan can get furious with a referee. But then I think about it twice, and then I see the official side, and then I calm down. But not all fans have that opportunity to understand that there's a human being making the call, and that 99% of the times the call is right.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now, there is a lot of challenges to the sport today. And like I said, given and this is a sensitive topic, given the proposed creation of the TKO and some of the suggested changes that they want to make, what, in your opinion, is the state of boxing today? What is the state of the boxing today? Because there's a lot of issues out there about the game. One of the chief ones that I often hear is that when you think of boxing, a boxing match as a product, the product that the people are paying to see isn't the best fighting the best. And that's what's causing a lot of the problems within the sport. So what is your feeling about the state of the game today?
Thank you. This is a great point. The state of boxing today is great. You have a hero in Japan, Inoue,
Yes.
and many others, Nakatani and Kenshiro Teraji. Japan is going through a great time of boxing. You have Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines. He just came back and fought for the title, had a draw with the champion. You have Alexander Usyk, who is a hero.
Whoa. Yeah.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
You have the incredible activity happening in London, in the UK, other countries in Europe. You have Terence Crawford, for Christ's sake, one of the greatest fighters that we have seen in an era. We have Canelo and other Mexican warriors. You have women being successful. So, in fact, boxing is going through a very good time. And we have seen very good fights in the recent past. Saudi Arabia, with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, he came in and he brought and he made all those great fights possible. Usyk against Fury, Bivol against Beterbiev, Crawford against Canelo, etc., etc., etc. So many heavyweight fights. So if we look at activity, boxing is blooming or booming. You have Top Rank, Queensberry, Matchroom, PBC, Taken Promotions, Ohashi, Sanfer, Opie, all these promotions worldwide. Most Valuable Player by Jake Paul, doing good cards.
Yeah.
So what the noise that is being generated by Dana White, by the UFC, by TKO, by SUFA, all these things, I like to differentiate a few things. One is their style. They have a style. They have a style of being aggressive, being very arrogant and saying, I am here and I'm going to change everything. How many times have we seen companies come and say, this is going to be it and it's going to be different?
Yeah.
So the style in which they are trying to downgrade boxing and to downgrade the promoters of the world, downgrade the boxing organizations, and even the fighters themselves, I don't think it's a proper attitude, and it is being taken very negatively by everybody. Second, they want to change the law. In the
Muhammad Ali Act.
In the United States, boxing is run and has to abide by federal law. It is not a game, it's a reality, it's a law, federal law. I lived through that process when the Muhammad Ali Act was introduced. There were many sessions in Congress. The senators, McCain and Reid, they had all these sessions where my father was called, Roy Jones, many people were called to get a understanding of what boxing is all about. So when they ended up and drafting the law, it is for the absolute protection of the fighter. That law gives the fighters protection. They can have representation. They have knowledge of all the financial information. They have knowledge on the rights, what they are entitled to, etc., etc., etc. It has the provision of making sure the promoters and the sanctioning organizations have no ties on any way that can lead to abuse of power or to a conflict of interest benefiting one fighter over the other, one promoter over the other, one commission over the other, etc. So, in essence, the overall state of the Muhammad Ali Act, which is a federal law, is for the protection of the boxer, number one, and then to have a clear, open competition industry where one promoter can compete with the other and with the other and with the other. If you are a good promoter and you can sell tickets, you can sell television, you can sell sponsorship, you are successful. So it is an open market that allows those who work hard to be successful. Those boxers who make a name for themselves, those who sell tickets and sell pay-per-view or sponsorship, they can make a lot of money because 80% of the money generated for an event goes to the fighters, 20% for the promoters. In the UFC, which is a league, which is a company under what I described before, like the NFL, NBA, the UFC is not a sport. It is a company that has a league of mixed martial arts. They have been very successful financially in the way they have done it. There's no law that has them to abide by anything that boxing promoters have to abide by. So they've been successful and they pay the fighters from 17 to 20% of the total gross. So if they want to come and do that in boxing and the law in the United States changes and allows them, then that's a different situation. The way today boxing is promoted and sanctioned and run, they would not be able to do what they do in the mixed martial arts. I respect anyone who comes into the sport. The WBC has open arms for anyone who comes into the sport. And if they're going to come and they are going to do boxing under the Muhammad Ali Act, that's great. If they're going to come and then they change the Muhammad Ali Act and they do their UBOs, as they call it, well, we wish them good luck. Hopefully, boxers will benefit from it. I would recommend that they do VADA testing, which is the greatest testing for anti-doping prevention.
Yes.
I would recommend that they do the Jose Sulaimán Boxers Fund, which is a fund that helps fighters in need who have retired in difficult situations, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
But the way boxing is today, I love it. Many promoters, many promotions, many television and platforms, and we are doing very, very good as of today.
And which brings a question that I've been thinking about, Mauricio. You mentioned that there's 80% that the fighter makes in boxing, as opposed to in UFC, the fighter only makes maybe 20%. So it just appears that in boxing, the fighter is doing far better in his purse and what he's making, as opposed to what UFC is offering.
Yes, what I understand is that the model of the UFC, of a league, they contract the athletes and they have certain conditions, but they're limited on how much up they can make.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Floyd
Because I remember.
Mayweather, De La Hoya, Mayweather, Canelo, Pacquiao, Fury, all these fighters who, by their own merit of being of ticket sales and bringing eyes to the television, they create those huge gate and pay-per-views and income, and they benefit from that.
And they benefit.
But if they did that and they only got $750,000 after all they did, instead of 30 million, 35 million, or Mayweather made 300 million against so it's a very different scenario in reality. You cannot compare apples with oranges. If SUFA is going to promote boxing and they do it in the current scenario, they are going to be challenged, and it's good because any promoter who has ideas, and if they have a TV platform, it's good for boxing. But it is not. We have to compare one with the other under same circumstances.
Well, I thank you, Mauricio, and the WBC for the many years that I was in the ring. And you mentioned earlier, boxing is a global sport.
Yes.
And you sent me to places around the world to referee fights that I would have never imagined that I would have went to, but yet I did, because of what the WBC was able to do in selecting me as the official to officiate that fight.
Let me share a story about Kenny Bayless.
Look out!
You know, when His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh began this unbelievable era of boxing, it only started back in October 2023, only 2 years.
Yes.
And one of his first wishes was to see and meet Kenny Bayless. A fan of Kenny Bayless, Turki Al-Sheikh, he said, "Oh, a great referee, I want to meet him." So that's what boxing is all about.
Yes.
Those great nights in Las Vegas, in New York, in Japan, in Wembley. Boxing is a unique sport. It's only we're celebrating 50 years from the Thrill of Manila. And 51 years Rumble in the Jungle. So this is a great sport that it cannot be controlled by one group. It's ridiculous to think anyone, a boxing organization, a promoter, a TV network, can come and say, "I am the only one." It's even self adulation. You have to be too arrogant to say that.
One of the things that as I understand it, and perhaps I don't understand it, but I think I do. One of the proposals of TKO is that and I've talked to some boxers, and they said they're taking the sport backwards, because one of the things they want to do is go back to having one champion and 8 divisions, back to the original 8 categories and those champions. And so there are people out there that they can't make 147. If you stuff them, they can only make 140. But if you go, do you think that that's taking it backwards?
Oh, you just hit such an important point. I said before, there's resistance to change in our sport, unfortunately. Every time we want to introduce a rule or a concept, everybody starts talking about, the way it used to be, it was great. 8 weight categories. How stupid that is. For a fighter who weights naturally, let's say 140, that is super lightweight. That does not exist. So you either need to go to 147 welterweight, where you're going to give so much advantage to the other fighter who is a natural 147, or you're going to have to go down to lightweight at 135,
Right.
making such a difficulty for your body to make weight, being so dangerous. The WBC introduced the super flyweight, the super bantamweight, the super featherweight, all these weight categories to reduce the gap from one to the other.
Right. Yeah.
Because of that, either for boxers to not give so much advantage going up in weight, or not sacrificing so much to have to remain in that weight category. Look at Eric Morales. He was so proud that he wanted to remain in super bantamweight instead of going up to featherweight, and then he had those wars with Barrera.
Yeah.
People that have never been in the ring or have never seen a fighter suffer to make weight are the ones thinking that there should be 8 weight categories. To say one belt, of course, it's very romantic to say one champion. But look at football, look at soccer. I mean, in the USA, you have the NFL, you have had the USFL, the Canadian League, the X League. Whether they make it or not, that's a different story. In baseball, you have the major leagues, then you have AAA, then you have the league in Japan, in Mexico, all these different leagues. In soccer, you have FIFA, the World Cup. Then you have the Europe Cup, the Euro Cup. I mean, there's so many different competitions, and there is room for everything and everybody. In boxing, there are 4 recognized belts, world championship belts. Whether you like it or not, this gives opportunity to more fighters to make money, more promoters to make money and stage events, more television networks to have boxing in their programming. As long as the fans are able to distinguish between who is best and who is not, and who is, then they are free to consider who is the best champion in the division. Then when you have unification bouts, and then when you have undisputed champions, then it's great, it's good. But it is nothing wrong with having 4 organizations that they have been working for more than, the WBO was the last one, and I think they are already like 40 years, 45 years in existence. So for those who say it's very easy to try to sell, we're going to bring one champion on only weight categories. That's for the very small-minded that don't know, don't understand. It's a very sellable, very popular way of saying I'm the good guy here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the one thing that I have often advocated, and I think it's when you look at someone like Tyson Fury, and they've done it in the amateurs, a super heavyweight class in professional boxing.
Well, we introduced there is a magic about the heavyweight, the word heavyweight. What we have done in the past, heavyweight used to begin at 175 pounds.
Yeah.
You had light heavyweight and then heavyweight. So from 175 above, it was all heavyweight. The WBC introduced the cruiserweight, which was from 175 to 190. Okay? So you had all these fighters with those characteristics, small heavyweights, now competing not against those gigantic 240, 250 pounds. Rather, they could compete. And then heavyweight started from 190 on. Then there was a change from 190 to 200, recognizing how human beings keep getting bigger and stronger. So the cruiserweight was put at 200.
Right.
And 4 years ago, we introduced the bridger weight from 200 to 224. So heavyweight starts from 224 on, and we believe with the bridger weight division, we have seen sensational matches, very good fights. But it is a fact that human beings keep growing and keep getting bigger and stronger.
Right.
It's hard to see a 200-pounder fight against a 270 strong fighter. It's a fact. It's something that we're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know Bird wanted to ask you this question because I'm gonna take a little turn to women boxing, and we've had a woman fighter on our show, Christy Martin, which you know well. And the question that we asked her, we know that women fights are only 2-minute rounds, as opposed to men are 3-minute rounds. What is your take on the 2-minute versus the 3 minutes for women boxing?
Well, we have been very strongly supporting the differences in rules for women and men. Why? Because we are different. If you see a skeleton of a man and a woman, they are completely different. The bone structure is different. Then the hormones, we have completely different physiology and what happens inside the body. A woman has the menstrual period that we do not have. And most importantly, there's something in the neck area that is much more weaker in a woman. So the WBC has taken the stance through medical research and through research of other sports to maintain differences in the rules for men and women. The 2-minute rule versus the 3-minute is a very important one because the same information that led the WBC to change from 15 to 12 rounds and to change the weigh-in from the day of the fight to 1 day before is a very simple formula. Dehydration plus fatigue plus punches. The more you fight, the more you dehydrated are. The more you fight, the more fatigued you are. So we keep 2 minutes, no more than 10 rounds, and there has not been a mortal accident in boxing. We had one case in Europe, one championship fight, which the champion ended up with a hemorrhage and had to retire, Frida Wahlberg. But if you review the facts and the history are very solid. Why attempt to bring danger and risk to women? I cannot understand that. Now,
Well, most of it's coming from women because they say that they do 3-minute rounds in sparring. We've had a 3-minute 12-round fight here in Nevada. So the rush for this is coming from women.
yes, and I have heard many fighters say, I want to fight 15 rounds like before.
Yes.
Of course,
yeah.
of course they can fight 3 minutes. Nobody's saying they cannot fight 3 minutes. They're able to fight. Say men can fight 45 rounds that they used to fight or fight to death.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is our responsibility to bring security to the athletes. They want to fight. I mean, there's bare knuckle fighting.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a slap ridiculous competition.
Yes.
Athletes are willing to do whatever it takes to make money.
Yes.
Women fighters, they want to fight 3 minutes thinking they're going to get paid more money. That is an absolute incorrect view. This is not sexism. This is not discrimination. This is not comparison. It is safety.
Okay.
So we will not give in. There's promoters, there's boxing commissions willing to do 12 rounds, 3 minutes. If a woman wants to do it, they can go do it for another organization, not the WBC. But why do you know basketball, right?
Yes.
Why is the ball smaller in basketball?
For women.
Why is the size of the basket shorter? Why is the 3-point shorter?
Shorter. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Why in gymnastics they have 6 competition for men and 4 for women?
Yeah.
Right.
Why in track and field, men run 480 kilometers, women 240.
Yes.
Every sport has differences.
Yeah.
In men and women. In lacrosse, they don't check. In hockey, there's no contact. There's no checking. So this is not about gender equality. This is not about anything other than safety.
But this is the reason why we wanted you to give you the opportunity to speak to that, because sometimes simply because you can do something doesn't mean that you should.
Of course they can. Should they? No, they should not, because we are here to protect them from what we have learned and researched.
Yeah. Well, you explained that very well, Mauricio. I appreciate it, and I would be remiss not on this show to mention your dad, because the first time I met your dad was when I was an inspector with the Nevada Commission, and we just had a relationship from that point on up until I got appointed as a referee with the Nevada Commission. And your dad was such a wonderful and beautiful man, and was respected all over the world. It was, for me, an honor to meet him. And then when your dad passed, which was a heartfelt moment for me, you stepped into his shoes and have continued to do the fantastic job that your dad did. I honor and respect you for that.
Thank you so much for your words. It means the world to me. And you know, my dad loved you, and he was very proud of you, and so am I. Because a referee, people don't understand how difficult it is to be a referee. I admire you both for what you do and what you have done. And thank you so much for your kind words.
Yes, sir.